thank you everybody for coming. I know it is very late on Tuesday, and so I really appreciate you guys, finding the time and the energy, because we all know how exhausting it is to have been at Summit for the past couple of days. But hopefully we'll be able to share some ideas with you that'll be kind of fun and exciting, some things that maybe you hadn't thought about before, and some great ways to increase revenue for your programs. So the title of our session is 4 Hot Ways to Maximize Revenue Performance Now. And I'd like to introduce you to our panel. So first off, we have our merchant, who is John Labruto. And John is the Director of Affiliate Partnerships and Sales at 1&1 Internet, Inc. He is from New York, just in case you won't be able to tell when his accent kicks in. And so that's where he loves to enjoy Italian food. So we have fun with that one. Next is Rick Gardner, who's our OPM representative, and he's with iAffiliate Management. That's a performance marketing agency that helps merchants to increase revenue and return on ad spend through strategic affiliate partnerships. Rick is from Minneapolis, where he loves to play in the snow with his boys. And my name is Janine Crooks. I'm here to talk from a network perspective. I've been in the industry since '99, so forever. I am a moldy oldie, but I like that. I'm from Denver, where I live with my husband and our 2 Siberian Huskies, and I am a diehard Broncos fan and sportsaholic, so that's who you're stuck with up here. What we wanted to talk about today was, as we promised, 4 hot ways to maximize revenue. So the 4 topics that we're going to focus on are managing real estate through landing page optimization, turning clicks into sales by encouraging ways to avoid cart abandonment or ways to do cart recovery, maximizing network performance, because there are a lot of ways you can probably work with your network better, and then taking amazing care of your affiliates. Each one of those, if you can even get a couple of those right, you're going to make more money. So that's always good. So the first person who's up is John, and he's going to start us with the advertiser optimized landing page.
All right. Hopefully I don't fall off of this thing.
Don't fall off.
I promise I won't fall off twice. A little close there. So we're almost at the end here, obviously, so that's good. Basically, the way we broke this out was between our different areas of expertise. So in my case, I'm a merchant or an advertiser. Sit down, try to think of ways that we maximize revenue and the best ways to try to convey that to you. Obviously, differences in different verticals where web hosting has some unique attributes, but it really is a carryover in a lot of ways to the different type of advertisers out there. So one of the things that we do to try to maximize our revenue is develop a very high conversion landing page. So, in a perfect world, we would have products that were all even, same price, same commission, same kind of demand from the user or the customer, and it would be no problem. We'd send the traffic to the home page, and it wouldn't really matter what they purchase or where they purchase. But that's not the case, and especially in web hosting, we have the scenario where we're pushing specific premium products, and we want the customer to be directed as quickly as possible to those products that we're looking to maximize as far as on the sales perspective. So one of the things that we do is to develop a very, very specific and unique landing page with a promotion that is probably better than what you get outside of the affiliate channel. Highly recommend some sort of promotion that's unique to the affiliate channel. Give your publishers a reason why the customers will click through. And also really, really have a very clear call to action. So if you have 3 products that you want to promote that are the top of the line, the highest revenue on your side, and probably pay the highest publisher commission, you may want to have 3 different landing pages specifically for those products that specifically discuss those products in short detail but concise detail. And also, they are a very, very clear call to action. So, product A, and that's on the banner ad, and that's on your anchor text, and that's on the actual call to action to the site. And then when you get to the site, there's nowhere for them to go other than purchase that product. Don't let them get off to a different product line. Don't let them get into a scenario where they can get off site, of course. And then the next idea would be for as little ability for the customer to get away from your site as possible through the sales funnel. So shorten that sales funnel. You may have a scenario where in your normal organic site, you have upsell. You have scenarios where you want to maximize revenue from a different product or add a product. You have different methods to maximize revenue, but in the affiliate channel and in this kind of paradigm, you don't want that. You want to get as quick to click off to the cart as possible. Get that customer to accept payment, get that customer to accept your terms, and complete the transaction in the shortest number of clicks possible. So this could be different than your regular site. You may have some protocols based on your company that require a little bit more funnel, in that sales channel, in that sales funnel. But at this point, for this particular optimized landing page, you want to get them off as quickly as possible. So again, you're focusing on a clear message, you're executing a simple strategy on your link pages, and you're developing very, very clear promotions for the customer to really give less of a thought in purchasing. That could be free shipping, that could be a special ad that adds something to the actual product that may not be offered on the regular site. So basically that's what we're looking at. Maximize your conversions. Look at your optimization. 2 times the conversion rate is 2 times the amount of sales. And test. Constantly test. And also, one of the things that we found is that the stickiness of some of these great offers, they don't last forever. So, obviously it's difficult weekly to change these things depending on your vertical, but you do want to change them periodically, maybe monthly and every quarter. Possibly try to get as much out of that particular promotion as possible and then move on, keep it fresh. So this way your publisher's traffic will go ahead and take a look and say, okay, there's more here than just the same old offer all the time, keeping it fresh. So the next phase of this would be from an advertiser's perspective is cart abandonment. And now that you've gone ahead and you've spent a lot of time optimizing your landing page, streamlining your sales funnel, and squeezing as much conversion rate as possible out of that traffic that you're getting in from your publishers, which is good for your publishers and good for you, of course. Now, what happens, next? What happens when the customer walks away? Basically, we're looking at almost 70%, 67.7% of all online shoppers are abandoning the cart. And there's a lot of different reasons why this happens, and a lot of the barriers that exist here, you've tried to address on your optimization page, so this all ties together. But it's still going to happen. So how do we still recover as many sales as possible with the strategy, above and beyond the optimization piece? So the cart abandonment strategy is probably one of the least understood metrics of all of the strategies that you'll have for your advertiser's website. Why are they leaving? Is it just that they were shoppers, they were browsers? There's a different possibilities on why that is, and we'll talk about that in a second. But here's a study that we cite. Almost $31 billion are being left on the table as a result of cart abandonment. And I'm sure you've seen a number of players here at Affiliate Summit for the past couple of years anyway. They're really focusing on cart abandonment, but it's the least understood. So there's different methods and then different ways to approach it, and we're going to discuss that as we continue. So this is what happens when you have notes. So why does cart abandonment happen? Well, we've broken this down into 4 very basic reasons. The customer gets to your cart, and maybe your landing page wasn't as clear as you thought it was, and there are things there that don't necessarily explain what the full price is of the product. Or maybe they were looking to see if there's a coupon or a discount or a promo code that they can use. There's many different explanations, but there's some sort of unexpected cost, and that could be they didn't know what the shipping cost was. There's no free shipping, and you have to get to the cart and put your zip code in and find out that it's going to cost you more than you anticipated. Or what everybody would assume is browsing. They're just looking around, seeing how much it costs. Maybe they'll do it, maybe they don't, and they pop off. But that means they really did have an inclination to purchase the product. Better price elsewhere. So that's a pricing scheme, something offering a coupon later on or in the cart process. That's something that you could address from that perspective. Or the price was too expensive altogether. They just are not willing to pay that amount for anything at that point in time. So it's not just that they're changing their mind. There's tangible reasons that you can address through a cart abandonment strategy to remove some of these particular barriers. So what's the difference between basket recovery and abandonment recovery? And here are the different players that you probably walked into or talked to this particular session or previous sessions that you've seen, or previous, I should say, summits. So on the basket recovery side, that's when the customers put a product in the cart and a time period has elapsed. So maybe it's 3 seconds, maybe it's 10 seconds, maybe it's 30 seconds. That's usually defined by the actual advertiser. And there's some sort of interaction now between the website and the customer. That could be a click to chat. That could be making an offer. That could be a pop-up of a coupon. That could be a gift card. It could be all these different methods that some of these providers have in their particular ability, with the way that company works. So in the basket recovery side, you have companies such as FanPlayer. And FanPlayer is an example. If a certain amount of time elapses either on a cart or on a product page, they'll pop in little coupons for the customer to go ahead and click through and then discount off of the cart. And then you have something like a V Interactive, which is a click-to-chat mechanism. And you also have a Negotiate, which is another really interesting sort of like Priceline thing where you can bid for the price. That would be most likely in the cart. And maybe you have a $100 offer or a $100 product and you really don't want to spend $100, and they see that you're hesitating, and they'll intervene and go ahead and say, well, make us an offer. And then there's a unique algorithm behind all this that goes ahead and determines what the maximum offer that they'll accept, and they either say yes or no or counteroffer. So they're constantly engaging the customer at this point. But from one of the things that is least understood about this concept also is publishers feel, well, this is sidestepping the publisher. I bring traffic in, and now another company is taking over this traffic, and most likely we'll get the commission. And that's somewhat true, but there's methods to mitigate that scenario. So there's click attribution, giving partial credit to the publisher that brought the traffic and one of these particular companies that work within the basket or abandonment recovery. And in addition to that, it could be segmented. It doesn't have to be on affiliate traffic. One of the best ways to implement these particular products or programs is to determine exactly how you want them to react with the customer. So it may not be with affiliate traffic. If you have any kind of traffic leads or paid traffic that's coming in, you just would not activate this particular program. So it would be more for organic search, or it'd be for SEM, or any of this just uniques that come in straight into the site, and then avoid any kind of affiliate traffic. But in essence, it becomes part of your affiliate program because you're going to pay these companies commission. So on the other end of it is the complete abandonment recovery. And on that side, what you're looking at is when a customer's gone. They've left, but they've left enough information for us to contact them, or for you to contact them. Companies try to do this in-house. It could work. It definitely could work. It's somewhat of a streamlined and fairly simple process, but it's the technique that is used and the metrics that's used that really makes this special and makes it successful. So companies like SalesCycle or CY or Rejoiner, basically what they're doing is putting together a program where maybe 24 hours after you've abandoned a cart and you've provided information, they're going ahead and sending an email or a banner ad or a special offer. So there's different ways to approach this. So some of the key elements in this is timing. And we talked about how the first contact would be within 24 hours. And in most cases, the way that they work this is you have at least 3 contacts. So your first one may be in 24 hours, the next one may be a few days later, and then the following one would be within the week or at the end of the week, within 7 days. And a constant reminder, at some point you'll get into spam, so you don't want to go any farther than this, but it's basically saying, hey, you've seen this. I'm sure you've seen this from some of the merchants that you've worked for. You left something in there because you probably went to another site to check out what the pricing was, and then you keep getting emails saying, hey, you want to do something with this. And the incentives are the most important piece of this. And they don't have to be monetary. They could be free shipping. They could be, different perks. Again, going back to things like cards, with money on them for they go ahead and redeem, or points. That's another great way to do it. Hotels would offer points, or merchants that have point systems, and loyalty systems. So, moving on, images would be another example. Abandoned items being more clear, and going ahead and develop a simple, compelling call to action on this recovery email to bring the customer back. So maybe you're going to go into more detail about the product, or what your unique selling point is, or the unique selling point of the product itself is. So there's different techniques. And the reason why you do work with some of these companies is because they're experts, and they can guide you in the proper way to try to re-engage the customer. You may want to add a phone number. Maybe you don't have a phone number on your site, and in this case, you may want to add a phone number on your abandonment strategy, so this way they can touch somebody. That's another reason why people walk away, because they have a question and there's no way to contact the site other than something that may get back to them in 24 hours, which is unacceptable. Some sort of immediate call to action, some sort of immediate answer as to what their questions are. And reminders promote satisfaction, guarantees, return policies, shipping policies, and of course any other perks that you may offer. And then the biggest one is coupon versus no coupon. You have to analyze customer trends, because you don't want to influence behavior. Customers are savvy also, so if they know that within 24 hours they're going to get a 20% coupon if they just hold the cart, they'll do it. So you may want to randomize it. You may want to have certain scenarios where certain products provide a coupon. It may be a smaller coupon. It's just anything to get them back to the site and try to go ahead and get them to complete the transaction. It could be just really underlying the fact that you have a money-back guarantee. No risk. Just do it. Go ahead and complete the transaction. So those are some of the ideas that we have. And the next side of the equation is from the publisher's perspective, and I'm turning it over to my friend Rick.
Thanks, John. As an agency, we kind of play on both sides of the advertiser and publisher side of the fence. So I'm obviously not a publisher, but one of the things that our company and our team does is help spend quite a bit of time on publisher development. So helping affiliates find new opportunities to improve conversion, work on conversion rate optimization, and essentially, eventually turn more clicks into sales. So when affiliates are starting to think about CRO, or conversion rate optimization, there's a couple kind of key elements that you want to consider. First is really understanding your audience. Who's your typical visitor? How are they finding your site? What's your demographic? How are people finding you online? Is it organically? Are you buying media? And starting to segment customers accordingly. Second is really improving your user experience. So understanding how people are using your website, using analytics to see which pages are getting abandoned, which are getting the most traffic, which are converting the best for you as a publisher. All of that data can be used to help improve the conversion of other pages that might be underperforming or may not even be getting indexed on the search engine. Next is really creating targeted content. So once somebody comes to your site, understanding where they're at in the sales cycle, in creating targeted content that's going to help take that consumer to that next action, whether that's a white paper download, whether that is the actual conversion or completing a purchase, whatever action that you're working with the advertiser on achieving, having targeted content to help accomplish that. And last is really just taking control of your ads. We see so many bloggers and websites that are still relying on AdWords, or AdSense rather, to advertise merchants and getting paid on a click. Well, the thing is you don't have any control of what's being featured on your website. So try testing how AdSense compares or performs versus a direct a banner ad or a targeted banner ad for working with that merchant as an affiliate. So putting my agency hat back on, how many people here are merchants or advertisers? Okay, great. So when you're thinking about your network strategy, there's really one question that you need to be asking yourself. How am I going to be strategically improving the return on investment and efficiency of our affiliate program? how are the networks that we're working with going to help me achieve the objectives and goals that I have? So when you're thinking about defining your network strategy, there's a couple different things you need to take into consideration. One is a multi-network approach going to help you achieve your objectives? Are they going to be able to work individually to help you accomplish your goals, or will it potentially cannibalize each other and create confusion for your affiliates? So something to be very considerate of and understand, and one of the things you can do is talking with your affiliates to understand what their network preference is. And really at the foundation of defining your network strategy is really understanding what your goals and business objectives are. What are you looking to achieve by working with affiliates? Is it new customer acquisition? Is it branding and awareness? Is it a variety of different areas that affiliates can help with the business, and really defining those goals and aligning your programs so that your affiliates are supporting your efforts. So next I want to just talk about kind of maximizing your network. So there are definite benefits to working and having a program in multiple networks. There's also some, thank you. There's also some challenges or disadvantages of it. So just talking quickly about some of the benefits of having a multi-network program. One thing when you're having a program in multiple networks, you're getting more available resources. You may have a network contact or account manager that can help you kind of divide and conquer and work on specific initiatives, whether that's recruitment, cultivating existing partners, helping them become active and productive partners in the program. You can really leverage those resources to accomplish things that you may not otherwise be able to do by yourself. Next is really just increasing your brand exposure. If you have a newer program or launching a program, there might be some benefit to having your program featured in the marketplace across multiple networks. Getting that awareness out there is going to help when it comes down to recruiting new publishers and new partners into the program. And one thing to keep in mind, there may be some incurred costs in terms of network managed services, or getting featured or extra exposure within the marketplace in the network. Some other advantages, if running a program in multiple networks, it really makes your program more affiliate centric. Different affiliates have preferences of which networks they work with. It could be that they're looking to achieve certain status within the network. They could just have better conversion, or a network could have better tools that help them more effectively advertise. So, having that flexibility is definitely looking out for the affiliate, making sure that, they're able to work with the network that they're most comfortable with. Second, there's really some additional flexibility for you as the merchant. You have more control over your ad spend, looking at how much you're paying in network fees, looking at other costs associated with running on that network. It also puts you in a better position when it comes down to negotiating contract renewals. If you're working in splitting traffic between networks, there's an inherent advantage where you have a better bargaining position. And last is really just, when you're working across multiple networks and keeping your hand on the pulse of what's going on in the marketplace, there's networks out there that are renowned for innovating and coming out with new tools, new tracking technology, new reporting. There's also networks that are a bit archaic. So having your hand on or finger on the pulse of what's going on out there will make sure that you're able to navigate the different networks and find the network that's best for your program. Looking on the other side, some of the challenges of having a multi-network program. There's inherently operational inefficiencies that come with working in multiple networks. Things as easy as uploading banners, they're just handled differently network by network. So when you're coming up with your affiliate playbook, you have to have separate tasks and operations associated with running in multiple networks. So your workload can increase exponentially as you add networks. There's also some challenges around data and reconciling performance of your programs across multiple networks. Different networks report EPCs and metrics differently. So that creates a new process each month as you're reconciling data to make sure that it's normalized across multiple networks, but also making sure that you're not paying out affiliates duplicate commissions or paying out more fees for orders for affiliates that may be in both programs and having issues with orders getting recorded in multiple networks. And looking at multiple networks, more is not always better. There's no direct correlation between incremental revenue and the number of affiliates or the number of networks that you're working with. So really focusing in on the right network, working with the right partners is more important than necessarily having your program spread out across multiple networks. And as I had mentioned, being able to leverage network resources to divide and conquer on certain initiatives. All networks are not created equal, so you may have great support within network A, whereas network B, you may not have as much visibility or support from their team in terms of understanding who your affiliates are, where they're advertising your brand, or what their promotional methods are. All right, so as an agency, we have the ability and luxury of kind of seeing the best and the worst across networks as well as platforms. And one of the things when you're looking at maximizing your return on ad spend, you need to look at which partners and how the networks are adding value to existing partners. It may make more sense for you to work direct or create an in-house program using a third-party tracking platform to improve your return on ad spend. So here's a few of the players out in the space. There's many more. But again, it's giving you more control of your program and your costs, which helps this time of year when it comes down to budgeting and things of that nature. And in closing on the agency side of things, we're seeing, and this is from a report that just came out recently with a trade survey, but more companies, even with more merchants and advertisers, are realizing that there's new complexities when it comes to managing a program effectively and efficiently. They may not have the resources in-house to do this. So while more than half of companies are still managing the program internally, more and more of them are leveraging network managed services or partnering with an agency to help them achieve some of their affiliate channel goals. So with that, I will turn things over to my colleague, Janine Crooks.
So now I'm going to talk from a network perspective because I have the advantage of seeing what dozens at any given time, dozens of merchants are doing with their programs and seeing who is being very successful and who's kind of falling short of their goals. Sometimes there's some things you can't control, but more often than not, there's a lot of things you can control. So if you've put everything into it, then it's going to make a big difference. One of the things that I see happen most often is current banners. Honestly, affiliates don't have time to go in and swap out every time you've got a banner for your weekend sale. That's great that you've got some special deal for 4 days. They don't have time on Friday afternoon to go in and pull another banner and load it up for you and 71 other merchants. So usually in most of the networks now, when you swap out a banner, you can do that yourself and it will automatically appear that way on the affiliate's page. I know this isn't rocket science, it's not the first time you've heard it, but are you making sure that you're always taking care of that for your affiliate? If you make it so easy for them to always have the latest creative, to always have the latest opportunity for whatever special sale you've got on, without them having to do anything, then you're going to own that piece of real estate wherever that banner resides on their site without any kind of issue. However, if you've got some old banner that's up there, that is still from, let's see, right now, Thanksgiving or Black Friday, sadly, there's some merchants who I'm still running into that, where they haven't swapped them out yet. You know what? The affiliate's going to lose faith in you. They don't want to make their site look bad, so they're going to replace it with somebody who does have good stuff on there. Another thing to do is work with your account rep. Find out who that person is. Some networks are a little more proactive than others in terms of making sure that you know that there's somebody in that role. But find out who it is that you can talk to and ask them what they can do for you. Challenge them. Because you know what, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on from a network basis, and if you take advantage of that, you're going to be something special. because honestly, most merchants don't bother. They don't bother to ask what it is that their network can do for them today. So, do that. There's things like holiday wrap-ups. A lot of the networks will go ahead and focus on a specific holiday that's coming up. Right now, we're all focusing ahead on Valentine's Day, followed by St. Patrick's Day, and then there's always kind of the funny ones in between, National Flip-Flop Day. We actually had a pretty successful sales cycle around that because we started promoting it, and it was just fun for the affiliates. But we gave them the creative that they needed, and we let them know about it. We got their attention. Other things that might be happening are category focuses. For example, your network may be doing something special about outdoor sports in the spring, when everybody's getting ready to cycle or to start running or playing Little League or whatever. There's those kinds of things that are there. Make sure that whenever there's one that's going to be appropriate for your particular program, that you're part of it. Challenge them. Make sure that you get in there. Ask for more, because the network is going to go out and be able to reach all of their affiliates at one time. It's going to be a blanket mailing that you're not ever going to be able to get to any other way than that. So make sure you find your way onto that. If you've decided that you want to work with coupon affiliates, always have an offer. It's kind of funny to see how many times somebody will let an offer expire. And so when a consumer goes to that page on the coupon site, it's just blank. And we can all come up with some sort of an offer all the time. So it could be free shipping, maybe it's a gift with purchase, maybe it's a discount based on the basket value, a sale on selected items or something. I mean, you've always got some sort of a deal going on that's part of what you're doing on your side when you're trying to convert on your own page. Let the affiliates know about it. Don't make it a big secret. Because when you've got those sorts of things going on, it gives consumers a reason to pick you over your competitor and come to your site. Because you know what? Your competitor is probably going to make sure that they've got something there. I know this doesn't seem like, oh my God, earth-shattering news, but I see it happen so often that, if you just kind of put a reminder, a tickler of some sort on your calendar that you need to swap something out that day, you'll do way better than anybody else, because probably a good part of your competition, either they're already on top of it and you're going to stay competitive with them, or they're going to forget about it and you'll be the ones that people come to instead. The other thing is pay to play. This has been growing to me as I've been watching it kind of through the affiliate industry. The concept of buying special promotional locations or a special feature in a newsletter or something like that. The success rate for this really does vary by merchant program. For some, it just is amazing, and for others, it falls flat. But you're going to need to find out what works for your particular program and also which affiliates that works with. All affiliates are not created equal, and I have seen some who, in their wildest dreams, want to get paid extra for something. They're not worth it. So your network person should be able to help you find that out. If there's a merchant or if there's an affiliate who is challenging you and really demanding and begging for you to buy that extra banner spot on their ad to be featured, make them show you some numbers. Good ones will have statistics on how sales increased by whatever merchant happened to be in that particular location. And if they can't show you good numbers on somebody who's in a similar or identical category, then push them on the price. Don't be afraid to. The big guys maybe are real firm on what the price is, but a lot of times, though, they're willing to cut that price so that you'll try it, because they're going to hope that they perform so well you'll come back again. So I've been amazed at some of the categories where this has worked at, and it doesn't always have to be an upfront payout. I've had some where it's a commission bump and been quite successful on that. I've had commission bumps that have been as short as 1 week and just an additional 2%. And the affiliate was happy with that because it meant that that merchant tried to see whether or not they could get anything extra by paying a little bit more, and it worked out great, so we've actually got some more planned for many of our merchants in those opportunities. But you know what, these days it may be something that you just plain need to try. But once again, talk to your network rep. Get some history from them, because they should know what's happened for some of the other merchant programs within that network, perhaps or most likely buying exactly the same deal from exactly the same affiliate. So they should be able to help you. But don't discount it. Perhaps leave a little bit of your budget available for exactly those kinds of opportunities, because they're coming up all the time, and there's some that are really, really powerful. Communicate. This is one of the things that I see happen more often than not, where a merchant never talks to their affiliates. I've had programs that have gone for 18 months without a single newsletter. And as their network rep, I am begging them for one. You need a reason to keep your affiliates excited. I mean, think of how much stuff can happen in your program in a month, in 6 weeks, in 2 months. There's sales that are going on, there's featured seasonal programs or products, you know, there's a new line that you just launched. You know, there's always something that's happening. If you're going to be excited about it, you could get your affiliates excited about it. Give them a reason to remember that they're working with your program and why they should be promoting your program over your next 4 competitors. Because other people are going to be clamoring for their attention. And for the good affiliates, I mean, they're getting a lot of newsletters every day. And they'll skip and just throw away a lot of them unless they've got value. So if you give them an idea about how to promote a program, how to promote your product, you're going to know your product's better than anybody else. But if you give them some of that insight, if you give them some ideas about something they can blog about, if you give them some reason to be excited because, oh my gosh, this manufacturer finally just came out with a fill in the blank, you know, they're going to show the love to you as opposed to somebody else for that same amount of space on their website. Or they're going to choose to write about you first in their blog post, because we're all watching the increased strength of bloggers and what they are able to produce. I went to the Type A Parent blogging boot camp, which was the day before Affiliate Summit. It was really interesting to hear how all the bloggers talked about working with merchants, working with companies, and how they are really starting to appreciate the power of affiliate marketing. They're understanding it more and more and how to implement it. And one of the statistics that I thought that was most interesting was when it came to sponsored posts, that was approximately, especially for the person who was presenting, it was 15% of her income, but it took up 70% of her time. And affiliate marketing now was 25% of her income. And she realized that, you know, she could do an evergreen post and continue making money from it and not have to keep chasing the way she does with sponsored posts. So, you know, yes, it's great to go ahead and have a sponsored post, but, you know, perhaps make that open as well to the affiliate, that not only are those links coming to you, but, you know, for a given period of time, but perhaps after your original 90-day period in your contract or something, let them turn it into an affiliate link. Because if they do that and they have a chance to make more money, they're going to go back out and promote that post and promote you again. They're going to rerun it on social media because now they can make more money. And they are all about that. You know, I mean, the women that were there and the men weren't just, you know, quiet little housewives and house husbands. They were serious business people. And this was not just a hobby. This was their business. This was their career. So they wanted to find ways to maximize it. So when you find those ways to maximize it by working with them, communicating with them, you're just going to come out ahead. Everyone will do better. One other very popular tool for working with affiliates is contests. But if you don't do it the right way, you are going to, instead of encouraging your affiliates, you're going to discourage them. You're going to just turn them off. And that's because you've structured it so that only the top performer wins every single time. And I've seen a lot of contests that are this way, where it's, you know, whoever generates the most sales. You know what, your top performer is probably going to be your top performer, and they win all the prizes all the time anyway, and it doesn't do anything for the little guys. I mean, your goal in running a sales contest wasn't so that the top performer could be, you know, given another toy. It's to try and get all the other affiliates really excited to run your program. So there's a lot of different ways that you can structure a program, a contest, so that the little guys can get excited about it as well. Some of the things that I've seen is they get 1 entry for every sale. And maybe you do extra entries for them if it's their very first sale. You know, they've never sold something for you before, so here's this contest. They get 5 entries because they finally did their first sale. Or they get multiple entries every time they hit a certain threshold. One of the most powerful competitions that I ever did was silver bullion, believe it or not. Now, this was for a financial services firm. So when someone opened up their very first account, they got 1 ounce of silver. When they opened their second account, they got 2 ounces. When they opened their third account, they got 3 ounces plus a 5-ounce bonus. And I will tell you the honest-to-God truth in that sales contest. As it was coming to a close, we had one fellow who refused his appendectomy surgery until he could close one more account because there was a bonus there and he would get an extra 100 ounces of silver. He did. The doctor was not happy, but he waited and did that because it was that kind of something to inspire him, to make him want to keep pushing for that. One of the things that you could also use as a way to generate more entries is social media promotions. See every time that they've mentioned your particular offer, on Twitter or on Instagram or on Pinterest. I mean, there's so many ways that they can do that. And every time they do that, when they do it at a different time of day, they've got a different audience who's seeing it. Some of these folks on Facebook have an unbelievably huge number of followers. Give them credit for that. Find some sort of incremental way that's going to be fair to everybody, but that everybody has a chance to participate. Everybody's got a chance to win that prize. The other thing that you can do for helping them to get extra offerings is maybe sales thresholds. So you will get 1 entry if you have a sale that's between $0 and $50, and you'll get 2 entries for $50 to $100, and you'll get 3 entries for $100 to $125. You've got an idea of what all those different thresholds are and price points within your own program. But, so take advantage of that. What's that extra little bit that you want to be able to nudge the affiliate to make the sale level increase to, for them to be able to have an extra entry in the program and for your sales to go up as a merchant? If you just start getting creative about it, you can come up with it. But if an affiliate feels like they've really got a chance to participate, they'll get excited about your contest. Otherwise, gee, isn't that nice, and so-and-so's going to win again because they always win, so why even bother? I've actually seen affiliates who get, so they just kind of get disenfranchised by it to the point where they're just like, I don't even want to see that brand. This brand is nicer to work with because I have a chance with this brand. One of the other things that has been growing now is the ability to see who is assisting in a sale. So review the assists and see who is helping to drive that traffic. They may or may not be the person who's closing at the end, but they could be playing a major role along the way. So what you're going to want to do is try and analyze the entire click path and just follow that click from its very first start to the end. Some networks have a system that's already built in where you can, give a percentage of the sale to each person who touched it along the way, and others may or may not encourage that. You get to make that decision as the merchant. But, some people could very easily be worth it that they're starting it. If you've got somebody, for example, who is generating a lot of assists but not closing, take a good look at that affiliate. They may be doing something wrong that they don't recognize, but you do because you know the product better. The easiest thing is their link not working right or something, but maybe they're pointing to the wrong landing page for that product. I've seen that happen. They deep link to the wrong page. Then they wonder how come they're not getting any sales. If they're getting people to go from their site to your site, then they've done something right to do that, but they haven't done it perfectly if that click isn't turning into a sale on a regular basis. And that's where you step in as the merchant or as the affiliate manager or as the OPM to try and help that person, try and help guide them there to see what it is to try and do it. And you know what, I bet if you start looking through your program, you're going to find so many people that really do come under that qualification or in that category. So try and help them, and it's going to pay off for having done that. So perhaps you offer them training on how to promote your product. You give them custom content. You give them custom creative. Maybe you give them an exclusive offer and see what that does. See if that's going to make them go from clicks to sales. It's worth a little bit of time. And you'll also discover, too, that, if that worked for affiliate A, it probably will work for affiliate B and affiliate C. So, you'll increase your toolbox of the things that you can do to help your affiliates and keep growing your program. Respond is my last one here. Most affiliates really aren't aggressive about contacting merchants. So when they do, when they've figured out where to reach you at, please get back to them. I've seen a lot of merchants who haven't done that, and the affiliate gets discouraged. They've tried, and it just hasn't worked at all. You know, I've seen a lot of them who've got great offers on how to promote something. They're going to want to tie in with maybe something special that's going on their site or something in their area or whatever, you know, and they want to bring you in on it. So, you know, if you get the chance, please, by all means, check out what they've got to say. You might get some great feedback about something where there's a problem in the path or something that, you know, could be done differently that's going to increase your sales. But by all means, respond. I'm actually one of the moderators on ABestWeb, the affiliate forum, and I learn a lot just by seeing what the affiliates post up there about different things that are challenges from them. So a lot of these items that I've been adding in here are things that I've heard, you know, a lot of affiliates say, in addition to things that I've been seeing as a network rep. So, you know, that's what I want to do, is try and give you that perspective. One of the other things that's really important to affiliates is if you can approve them on a regular basis. We actually just had a really long thread of people complaining about how long some of their applications had been sitting at the merchant waiting for approval. There were some really record times, I mean months and months and months, between when they'd applied for the program and when they finally got approved, to the point where when they did get approved or denied, they didn't remember what the program was that they had applied to. So really what we would recommend is that you don't wait longer than a week. And if they don't make sense for your program, you know, there was a reason why they applied to you. Ask them before you decline them. You know, if you just send them an email or give them a phone call or whatever it is that's the way that's most comfortable to you or the easiest to use through your network interface, maybe they have another site that for some reason wasn't listed as one that is available for them to promote your program on. I've had that happen both, you know, as I've been trying to work with affiliates, and happened to me personally because I applied to a program way back when I was an affiliate, and, you know, I got denied for it, and I could not have been a more perfect affiliate, but the affiliate manager hadn't bothered to look at what all my sites were. When they figured that out, they were a little embarrassed. That's okay. Didn't matter. I finally got into their program. But, you know, I was really glad that I had a chance to kind of respond to them and say, this is where I'm going to promote you. This is how I'm going to promote you. Please reconsider and let me in your program. The other thing is payment. And this sounds funny, but I've seen a lot of things happen along the way where people, you know, finance messes up and, you know, accounts payable, it doesn't cut the check on Monday or on Friday, they don't cut it till Tuesday, so it's a little bit late getting to the network. And depending on how the network is and how you're already set up in the network, that may or may not delay payment to the affiliates. Maybe they didn't make the cutoff during that 2-week period and they won't get their check for another 2 weeks. They notice that. They don't forget that. They'll give you a little bit of a grace period from an affiliate standpoint, but if they consistently have to fight for their money, they're not going to be real fond of you. So I know that that's not always something that's under your control from an affiliate management standpoint, but you know what, it's just kind of one of those little best practice things that if you can always stay in touch and work with your finance department to make sure that the invoices got paid, that, you know, to make sure that you received them, if you're expecting them, if for some reason it got delayed from the network to you, that you get them approved and back to finance in time and be able to get those approved and get it paid to the network. It's really going to make a difference. It sounds silly and little and way down at the end of the line. It still matters. So that's everything that I had to say. What we wanted to do now was kind of open it up for questions and see if anybody has any. If you wouldn't mind, we do have a microphone there, so they've asked us if you could step up to that so that A, we can hear, because as we're all getting older, I don't know if that's getting tougher for you, but it's getting tougher for me. And, you know, and then also we're being videotaped, so that way we can share the answer with everyone. And we're also inviting you to please feel free to give us a call or email us or whatever. We're all over social media, I would say. None of us are shy about that. So there's our email addresses, or you can find us on Twitter, you can find us on Facebook, you know, kind of you name it, we're there. We're on Link, we're on Skype, you name it. So anyway, thank you so much everybody for being here, and we'll start questions now. Thank you.
Hi
Please.
there. So I'm the affiliate manager for our company, and we've been running at a certain CPA for a long time, and I'd be interested to see what kind of increased volume or partners that we can get with an increase in payout in our general public IO. And I was wondering what would be the best method or the most efficient method to go about that? So would it be contacting all of our best pubs currently and to sort of negotiate a higher price and then increase it overall, or just increase it overall to maybe get the eyes of people who have ignored our proposition before and may be interested now?
So what you want to do is find out the best way that if you can consider like a higher payout to a select group of affiliates, what would be the best way to communicate that and test to see if that would work?
Sure, and also just so if we increase the payout to everyone, it may just not be effective because there are no additional placements that they could feature us in, or they just don't really care. So I was wondering just the most effective way to try to scale, and we have the budget to increase the payout, but I just want to know the most effective way to get the quality up. Yeah.
John, you've done
Yeah, so I think one thing that you can do is, if you haven't already, is just start segmenting your publishers by promotional type and how they're advertising, and kind of look at their Alexa and some of the other metrics and data that could be available through Compete. And I think the more targeted you can be with specific offers to them to kind of get engagement and get them active, the better. I think how you're communicating some of the program terms and overviews. I mean, you could position it as a special initiative or campaign. You could also build in just certain performance tiers, so you're being forthcoming with your partners and they understand some of the upside potential. So those are a few ideas. I don't know if you have any.
Yeah, sure. So you want to look at what your competition's doing first. If your competition is paying more and your sales are lagging as a result, well, then you may want to go ahead and increase across the board. Maybe match what they're doing or a little better, and see if that goes ahead and stimulates or generates sales. Another method would be pick out your top performers and see how much more they can do. Talk to them, ask them, make a list of 10, 20, 50, depending on what your budget is for a different proposal, and put it in as a temporary increase, for a month and see what happens. Or a third would be to have it kick in after a certain threshold. So, maybe after, I'm going to say 100 sales, but we'll say after 100 sales, your particular commission rate kicks into X amount. And then be able to support the fact that you're not going to pay it to everybody, but at the same time you're encouraging people to get to that threshold and then get a bonus as a result, or get a higher CPO as a result. So those are some ideas. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can do it, or just a one-to-one agreement. If you have one particular, or a list of 10, you hit each one of them separately and you say, okay, listen, let's discuss what can we do to optimize, how can we increase the performance of the program, will commission help, and I'll pay you this if we can get to this point. And then it's not a verbal agreement, but it's a written agreement between you and that particular publisher, and then you implement it through bonuses through the network itself without having to publish it.
That was really helpful, thank you.
You're welcome.
I've actually had merchants who have, contacted an affiliate and said, what's an extra 2% going to get me? And the affiliate will come up with something and get back to them on it. And honestly, if you kind of hold out a little bit, sometimes the affiliate comes back to you with just a little bit more because they want that 2%, and so they just kind of sweeten the deal a little bit to find something that's, acceptable to both. So, John's advice, Rick's, was both very good. So yeah, just kind of give him, talk to him, negotiate, and work. And thank your lucky stars if you've got that flexibility to be able to increase commissions, because you've got a very valuable tool. Are there any other questions? No, yes? Okay. I think we're just about at time. Thank you, everyone, and once again for coming. We really appreciate it. We'll all be up here for a while now, so if you want to swap cards, we always love to do that. That's the reason why we came to Summit. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of Summit, because there's a whole hour left. Thank you, everyone.
Safe travels back.
Yes.